So I give you the...
That trail's at 16 yards. Well, it's the afternoon of September 12th, and Max and I are set up for afternoon hunt. It is hot today. The truck was reading 102. We're trying a new spot. I actually set this stand up yesterday at lunchtime, and despite being right here off the road, it's just a big, thick bedding area, and there's a couple trails that crisscross in front of this stand, so I thought I'd give it a try. I looked for some watering holes today, but couldn't find any that were being used heavily. So I'm going to listen to the landowner and come try this spot out and see what happens. We're about out of camera light, and we got skunked again tonight. I know this heat's not helping us. I'm not sure how many more days I'm going to hunt, but I think I might try this spot one more time in the morning, just because there was some morning activity on the cameras the very first hour. We're having fun, so we'll check back in with you guys tomorrow.
Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Nikon, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Wasp Archery, America's Best Bowstrings, Hoyman Tree Saws, RTP Outdoors, Spot Hog Releases, and Realtree.
He's down for the count right there. He's down for the count. You smoked him. It's the morning of Friday the 13th, and Jake and I just showed up to the same spot that I hunted yesterday afternoon. As you guys saw, we had a very bad sit. We got skunked, and I was a little bit surprised because the deer had been so active on the camera the last few afternoons, but they've also been active in the morning. And there's one particular buck, a big 5x1 mature big body deer that's been showing up every morning. And so we're here about an hour before he's been showing up. And this spot's just about 7,500 yards off the road. So we're going to get out the truck here, get ready and sneak in there, and hopefully he'll stay on the same pattern. video on him pretty good. Great shot. He's down for the count right there. He's down for the count. You smoked him. When I whistled, he stopped. Because that was the one little hole, and he got a little bit through the hole. And I just had to tuck it right up against that little tree. But man, smoked him. Smoked him. Yeah, he's done right there.
Is he seriously laying there 10 yards away from where he shot him?
Yeah, I mean, I see his legs. He's at 39 yards. He's at 31, he's at 39. We just got interrupted by this little 1.5-year-old. Jake thought he had seen another deer down there. I mean, as you can see in the pans, it is super thick right here. Not a spot you would normally think of hunting in early season. But the landowner ran cameras right here, and this is one of the bucks that was on it. He's hard-horned. He's a big 5x1 mature deer. None of them have big antlers like I mentioned yesterday, but there's an 8-pointer that's still in velvet. But this deer is the one that's been the most regular in the morning and on the camera pretty regularly right at daylight. So we got in here at 5 o'clock this morning, an hour before sunrise, and just sat quiet. There was a deer right here when we came in off the road that blew. It sounded like a fawn. And I mean, as soon as I could see down the trail with my binos, I could see this deer. And I think Jake could just get camera light of him when he decided to walk off, and he ended up making a loop around. We got a little bit more daylight, and he was coming back down the hill. I think he smelled us or heard us or saw us or something, because we were trying to talk that he was down there and etc. But making sure Jake had the camera right and everything else. But he got here to like 14 yards, as you could see. We couldn't see him, it's so brushy. And I think he heard us talking again. And as he started to slip away through the brush, I had one little opening. It was 31 yards. And I had a great look at his vitals, and I just tucked it in there. He didn't go 10 yards. I heart shot him. I could see him down in the brush over there. So it's pretty rewarding after grueling it out all week. We've been hunting 100-degree temperatures in the afternoon every day, and I was already contemplating, I wasn't going to sit here very long this morning, take the stand down, and we're going to drive to that other farm where the Siri buck was, because he showed back up yesterday afternoon, but don't have to now. We can take this set down and go take a look at this deer. This is where he was standing. Only made it about 10 yards. Broke it off. Pig of a body. This is him. It's mature 5x1. Big management buck. Cool looking deer. Some neat stuff here. Still got some of his summer coat on him. That's what we're after, a nice mature buck. Pretty awesome. Well, here he is, the culmination of our Kentucky hunt. I couldn't be more pumped to have this mature buck on the ground. As you guys who have followed along this week have noticed, it's been a struggle. It's been really hot. We've had 100-degree temperatures. And you know, the first couple days it was looking like it was going to be promising. I had that Siri buck on a pattern, and then it just got really hot and the deer movement slowed down. We hadn't seen a deer in 3 or 4 hunts. I was having a lot of fun on that one farm hunting that Siri buck and kind of building that story, but once I busted him out of there a couple times and we had hunted it 5 straight times, I felt like we had to make a move. So we moved to this big farm that I was a little bit intimidated by originally. It's about 2,000 acres. It's kind of in the cave country of central Kentucky. Lots of big timber, no food whatsoever on the whole farm. We started pulling cards. There was mature deer in a few spots, and this was one of them. And I was a little bit nervous to hunt right here because it's so thick, it's difficult to film. Very, very thick, early successional growth, lots of saplings, and we're only about 100 yards off the road. This particular buck has been here almost every morning, and he's usually been here between, you know, 5:30 and 6:30, right around that first light. Sunrise is like 6:15 right now. And so we actually got in here about 5 o'clock in the morning, just snuck in right off the road. And we did blow one deer out. It sounded like a young deer that blew a little bit and ran, and then we just sat there in the dark. This guy popped up, and I could see him in my binos before I could see him with my naked eye. And so I could identify that it was this deer. And he knew something wasn't right. He either smelled us or caught us moving up in the tree. We were kind of in the light as the sun was coming up, and we were trying to communicate and talk about where he was and see if we can get him on camera, etc. And when I looked back down there through my binos, he was staring up at us. And thankfully we had 2 ozonics going, and he wasn't quite sure what was going on. He made a loop through the timber here. I could hear him walking. He got up on top of us and then started slipping back in to come check us out. And he got all the way into like 15 yards, but it was so thick I couldn't see him or couldn't get a shot at him, couldn't get him on camera. And he was staring up in our tree at us and then started to slip away, and I was able to stop him with a little whistle with one little opening at about 31 yards and made a good shot on him, and he only went about 10 yards. So a really cool buck, mature buck, one of the most mature bucks we've had on camera. Just a Shar-Pei neck here. Big 5x1, has some cool brow tines here. Looks like he might have busted his beam off in velvet or something. But I'd like to give a big thank you to the Noble family for letting me hunt their farm here in Kentucky. I really appreciate it. And also to my wife and kids. Lord knows I spent a lot of time thinking about deer hunting and out in the deer woods and planning for deer season, etc. I love you guys and I miss you. I can't wait to get back home and see you. We're gonna get this deer cleaned up and get packed and head back to Iowa. It's about 8.5 hour drive, and I want to get back tonight because the opener for the urban zone is tomorrow. And so lucky for me, we can start game planning and get started hunting back in Iowa tomorrow, and then October 1st is right around the corner. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the deer season. Thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail.